All right, good afternoon, everyone. The much sought after final afternoon session. So thank you very much for sticking around to have a look at what we've put together. I'm going to be talking a little bit about how Elsevier has seen the repository and CRIS systems grow over the years, and where we think you guys are finding some issues or some areas that we can try and help you overcome. And then my co-presenter Robert, he's going to talk about a rather successful implementation of the APIs that we've had with the University of Florida and Elsevier, and hopefully it'll give you a good idea about what is possible with the APIs that we have available. We've also we're reopening a pilot program for accepted manuscripts being embedded within the institutional repositories themselves as well. So hopefully that'll be of interest to you guys too. So we've kind of seen quite a proliferation of institutional repositories over the years, and the drivers behind that from our point of view have been around preservation, the online publication and showcasing and compliance. And so we take this into account when we build some of our solutions and how we incorporate some of the APIs that we have available. And some of the other trends that you can kind of see up there are what leads us in this kind of thinking. So some of the challenges that we see you guys face, and again, I'm very interested in hearing from you if this is actually the case, or if there are other areas that you'd like us to, or you'd like to work with us. Please do let me know. But the areas that we see the challenges and we think that we can help you out include the getting awareness, getting content, so specifically from Science Direct and Scopus is what I'll be talking about today, ensuring compliance, as well as maintenance and development. And one of the bigger kind of areas there is navigating the national assessment requirements as well. So we've invested in tools and services to complement and enhance the way the role of institutional repositories, and to make green open access work better for all stakeholders. We want to work closely with institutional repositories to better understand your needs and support the work, as well as avoid any duplication of effort there. Our hosting policies also try to make it clear how institutional repositories can host Elsevier content without having to have an agreement in place with us. So we provide Scopus Science Direct APIs to support automatic ingestion of a repository's, metadata and links to enhance a repository's discoverability and aid in reporting and compliance. Our Science Direct APIs also support in linking and hosting of content, helping the institutional repositories overcome the challenge of chasing authors for manuscripts, which is something we hear about quite frequently. These tools and services are already being used, for example, with the University of Florida, or also with the University of Qatar, where we're running a couple of successful pilots. And again, we are looking for more institutions to run these pilots with us. So please let me know if you're interested. Our pilot in Florida has been very successful, and we're now entering phase 2 of that, and Robert's going to talk a bit more about what that looks like. Our other products, such as Pure, similarly provide tools to support an institutional repository. For example, to help organize information and generate reports. SciVal enables institutions to visualize research performance, to benchmark that against peers, to develop collaborative partnerships, and to analyze research trends. And then Chorus, Portico, and Clocks are all industry services which we participate in. Portico and Clocks are international and jointly run by librarians and publishers, so there's no need for institutional repositories to perform this function, which we find can be very expensive and duplicative. Through our leading role in Chorus, we're also bringing together all of our services that we provide ourselves to operate a cross-publisher basis and support the development of a workable green open access environment. So we've developed our APIs around offering these kind of four main areas to help, I guess, leverage and showcase your institution funder policies for public access and enhance the way of the user experience for the institutional repository. And we want to do that in three ways. Part of that is to increase the comprehensiveness and coverage of Elsevier published content by authors from institutions. We also want to help users to access the best available version and keep users in the institutional repository when reading the final articles. So the University of Florida is implementing a system to use the Elsevier APIs to search for and download metadata and abstracts and full text for indexing for articles by University of Florida authors to include the institutional repository at UF. The pilot partners are testing the integration and application of the APIs and working to design the user experience and interfaces a little bit better. So these are some of the prerequisites for utilizing some of our APIs. Elsevier has a service agreement with Atmire for institutional repositories wanting to use any DSpace plugins. My colleague Letitia, who wasn't able to be here today, she works to reach us out to DSpace institutions to offer this to them as well. So this is available. These are available for all institutions at the moment, and we encourage you to try and utilize some of these. Our pilot program in particular, which we're now renewing, is to embed accepted manuscripts within the institutional repository. So what this means is that we'll actually create a version of the accepted manuscript available for that pilot. Those they'll cover a 3-year period, so going back 3 years. The pilot will run over a year to test that usability, as we kind of mentioned before, and again includes those DSpace plugins as well. And for that, we kind of want to work together on understanding how that repository is used, how those accepted manuscripts are used within the repository, and the information that we get back and forth there. So again, we really do want it to be a bit of a partnership. And to get into a little bit more detail, these are some of the implementation examples that we've had, but Robert here is the expert on what it actually looks like in terms of implementation. So he's going to take you through all of those now.
Hello, I've been introduced, Robert Phillips at IT at the University of Florida. I've been in IT at the University of Florida for 2 years now, have a long-standing career in telecommunications software. So a lot of the issues, the higher-level issues, is not my forte now. It's mostly implementation, but I'm going to carry forth with explaining from my dean's point of view, basically, why we went into a collaboration with Elsevier to augment some of the to fulfill some of the responsibilities that the Dean of Libraries at the University of Florida has. And I'll touch briefly on some of the technical issues. If there are any technical questions afterwards, I can be happy to answer any. Okay, we're now engaged in 2 projects. The Elsevier pilot project, which Thomas has just gone over a little bit, and the Chorus pilot project. And through both of these, we're increasing as one of the effects, one of the products of these projects. So we're increasing some open access accessibility to our users at the library by ingesting metadata and providing links to Elsevier articles, many of which, not many, but a percentage of which are open access articles that otherwise would not have been available to any of our visitors to our repository. Okay. Our dean is asked often, why did we choose Elsevier to embark upon this project? And basically, Elsevier has high citation impact. A large number of our authors do publish with Elsevier articles, so the greatest impact now working with Elsevier. And also, Elsevier has the APIs available to help us implement it. Elsevier is also interested in working with the University of Florida because we do have a authorship of about 8,000 articles per year in a wide variety of disciplines. And our dean just asked Elsevier if we could be part of this, and it came to be fairly simply. Phase one of the project was augmenting our University of Florida digital collections website and the services that we offer. University of Florida Digital Collections has many collections, one of which is the IR at UF. And then the IR at UF is now the host of over 35,000 Elsevier articles that are discoverable, some of which are open access articles in Elsevier publications. Through this pilot, all of the subscribers to Elsevier who discover an article that is an Elsevier article that is linked to in our repository can just click a couple of links and see the full access, the full text article on a ScienceDirect platform. This provides our visitors access to all of the UF authored open access articles through if the user is coming from an IP that is associated with an Elsevier subscriber, Elsevier, part of the API interplay, has us receive information back from Elsevier. This is all behind the scenes as to whether this user has access to the full text of the article. It doesn't have to be a UF visitor. It could be somebody from another university, for some reason, is on our UFDC website looking for some articles, and if they have access from their IP, University of Wisconsin, and to see Elsevier content, and they want to look at an article on our website, that they may be able to do that. So this, as the slide says, increases comprehensiveness of the coverage of the articles, and it provides subscribers with the best available version. Also, if we have visitors on the website who are not coming from a subscriber IP address, then our system will automatically lead them to the Elsevier guest page, which gives an abstract, the first page or so, I believe, of the article, and options to find the articles other ways. One of them is to use interlibrary loan. Of course, one is to buy it from Elsevier. Okay. All right, let me just... We implemented this over a period of about a year and a half in phases. Phase one, involved us receiving back files of UF articles that were published by Elsevier, that is the metadata for them, going back to 1949, actually. So we had about 31,000 articles from back files that we had to mine for the proper data, metadata to put it into our IR. And as I said earlier, we linked to ScienceDirect for the licensed subscribers. We discovered that there are a good number of open access articles that we collected through this process and that are now available. And going forward, we are going forward with Elsevier month to month. We can do periodic downloads from them of metadata for new articles by UF authors, and automatically deposit research as it comes out, put it in the UFDC, the IR, and it will be available in short order for our patrons to discover and to read. Thomas referred to our phase 2 goals, which we're in the midst of doing now. In this phase, the articles will be, the accepted manuscripts of UF authored articles will also be available after the embargo period. And again, the user's IP will be, well, actually, in this case, the user IP will not be relevant because after the embargo period, the accepted manuscripts are available to anyone. So anyone comes on the site and discovers one of these manuscripts will be able to see a new interface to page through the articles. And as with the phase 1 indexing, we receive the full text so we can produce indexings that can search and discover the articles easily based on the full text. And our usability testing is also, advising us, informing us on how to change the user experience a little bit, how to make what links should look like, thumbnails should look like, those types of issues. Since we're using the SOBEC institutional repository software, as not too many people are using, but the University of Florida uses it. It's an open source software solution. We need to engineer all of our work into that system. This is just an overview of the Elsevier APIs and how we use the APIs. If you look at the top bubble, we use the Elsevier, first we use the Elsevier search API, and we search for all articles in a certain time period. They're affiliated with the University of Florida. Once we retrieve those articles, we get identifier values of each article, and we then go to another Elsevier API and retrieve the full text of the article. The first search API gives basically the Dublin Core metadata elements and a few basic elements that we pull into the IR. The second full text interface we use just to produce our indexing for that article. This is done on a periodic basis, in the evenings, once every month or so in a periodic fashion to get the latest updates. Okay. Okay, the next, let's see how many slides I have left. All right, let's see. Okay. Now, when the user comes to the search screen, next, I'll just say this. This is a result screen. Once they put in a search, they'll see a few thumbnails. They'll be able to scroll down to all the results or do next page to find more results. If the user is coming from an IP, the University of Florida, they'll see that little "you have access" indicator caption underneath the thumbnail. That gives them a pre-notice that if they do click the title link, that they will be led directly to the full text access version of the article. If, as the bottom link, the user does not have, is not subscribed, or they'll just see a check access link, and that leads them to the guest page I referred to earlier. Also, if they have open access, they're pre-warned of that. So if anyone, regardless of subscription or non-subscription status, they'll know that when they click that, they'll see the full access, the full text version of the article. Okay, I'm not going to read my notes. Okay, I think this covers basically what I just said. Okay, so we're going to go into some more usability testing as we go forward. I'm trying to give you a little bit of time for questions. This is our view of the accepted manuscript interface. It's a little bit different than the other interface because here, when they select an accepted manuscript that's out of its embargo period, they'll see a separate PDF viewer embedded within our UFDC website, and they'll be able to use that to go through. At the bottom of the, you can't see it, but at the bottom is a link where they can get the full PDF download. Okay, I don't think I'll mention the course project right now because we're running out of time. But okay.
All right, thank you both. Have we got questions from? We've got time for questions. Any questions from the audience? Okay.
Christian Corticast from University of Queensland. Just in the workflow there of the interaction with Scopus API, how you pull the metadata down and there's, if it's can be open access, then it links off to the publisher's website to get the PDF. Would it be possible to download the PDF into the repository if it was an open access thing, so there's a storage of it there as well, rather than just at a publisher endpoint? Is that a possibility or something you've considered to, tick a few more open access boxes?
The question was, could we also download the open access article in full onto our repository? We could. I guess we know that the open access article is available just through the DOI link, so people can always get to it in the future. Oh, well, maybe not. I don't know. Okay. 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 The ones I've tried, but I'm not in charge of that decision, but it is technically possible for us to do that, yes.
So, sorry. So the question is it legally all right to download a...
open access version into your repository?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's open access, so you can download the full text PDF. That's the problem. Yep, exactly. Yeah, depending on the type of open access and the copyright around that. So green open access, obviously you need to do the embargo period and all of that, but there's no reason why you couldn't add a gold full open access to the repository. Absolutely. Yeah, yep, you can do that as well.
Okay.
Hi, Xiaoning Zhang from the National Science Library of Chinese Academy of Sciences. I'm addressing this question to elsewhere, and I have been asking this for a number of years. And elsewhere, well, you know that institutes have their repositories, and the best way to populate is to download your PDFs. And your Alicia Weiss spent a lot of time trying to sue some of the researchers or in research institutes to take down the PDFs. So about 4 or 5 years ago, and continuing after these years, we are asking, which is the version of author manuscript. And you can easily put up an API and then use this as a service, at least to those institutions that pay a lot to subscribe your journals. At that time, when Alicia said, well, it would be technically expensive, whatever, and now you have these capabilities. So do you prepare to offer this as a service to all the institutes, so the authors don't have to download and input PDFs, and you don't have to go around and have your lawyers busy, and we don't have to worry about all this? Are you prepared or waiting?
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, that's exactly what this service is. It's exactly right. We're essentially piloting it right now to make sure that it works as it should.
Well, I mean, we don't have to have the Florida kind of system. Anyone who is subscribing to your database, or actually any organization who is publishing in your journals, just as a regular service.
Yeah, so the Science Direct APIs that give metadata about embargo dates are freely available.
Well, I'm not just talking about metadata. I'm talking about the author manuscripts.
The author manuscripts are under copyright. It depends on sorry, maybe I'm misunderstanding the question.
Should I try? I think what you're saying is that clearly Elsevier can provide access to the author-accepted manuscripts in this system. So would that not be possible for everyone who subscribes? Is that the question? Rather than having to go through use this particular API system?
So for this particular pilot program, we are creating a version of the accepted manuscript. So it's not something that we offer across the board at the moment. We are testing how to do that in a way that is sustainable for both ourselves and yourselves.
So maybe I had two questions. So the follow-on to one is I'm sorry. Can I take chair's privilege for two things? One, is there a cost for this at the moment? I wasn't clear whether you're charging.
No, there's no cost for using the API.
But in future, is this a service that's going to be?
I don't imagine so. None of our APIs have costs associated with them at the moment.
Okay, I'll save my other question.
So I have two short questions. The first one is really about the workflow, because there are many publishers, obviously, and we would love, obviously, systems to deposit, articles, and especially the content, not links, but the content to the repositories. And so our kind of repository is expected to engage with every single publisher. And is that kind of sustainable? That's my first question, because I don't believe it is. I mean, they can engage with you as Elsevier, but they can't engage with everyone. That's question number one. And the second question is really, what are you going to do to make sure that the repositories are not kind of serving only the human users who go to the repositories? Because the main function of the repositories, which we just discussed on the previous session, is actually enabling robots to actually, collect the content and mine the content. So I would kind of really encourage you that the service provides, when you are depositing the manuscript, that you're really depositing the content and enabling the content to be aggregated.
So for your to start at the last question, I'm not sure I can answer that for you right now. What I will do, though, is I'll get your details and I'll put you in touch with the person who should have been here, and she'll be able to go through that in more detail with you.
It would be just sufficient if you would say, like, we are interested in depositing also the content.
I'd love to give you the answer that you're after, but I don't have the information. I'm sorry. In terms of your first question, and I'm sorry, could you repeat it before?
Yeah. So wouldn't it be more kind of sustainable that the repositories would work with some sort of a service which does this kind of work for all the publishers, not just for Elsevier? Because for one institution to engage with every single publisher to do this depositing for them is just too complicated.
Yeah, we're open to discuss something like that, absolutely. Where this is simply something that we're offering our customers and other institutions at the moment. But yeah, if you want to talk about that, please let us know.
Okay, it is 5 o'clock, so I'm going to stop. I'm sure that you'll have more questions. You're actually on the Elsevier stand, so can't get away for the rest of the conference. Thank you for presenting that. Thank you for the fascinating presentation beforehand. I think there's lots of interesting stuff going on. Have a safe evening, enjoyable evening, and see you all tomorrow morning. Thank you.